We could see a significant severe weather outbreak today in these risk zones. First off, happy Friday. I hope if you guys are in any of these risk zones, you've been paying attention over the last few days. If not, though, it's fine. We're going to go over it. We already have some severe weather moving through Kentucky right now. We've had some severe thunderstorm warnings and some tornado warnings throughout the night, and we will see this likely increase as we move into the afternoon hours and the evening hours. If this is your first time on the channel, I do daily uploads like this, and I live stream, or at least I try to live stream every night to answer all of your questions. So if you like this type of content, feel free to sub or throw this video a like, and let's get into this. This is our current satellite. Notice what's going on here, guys. We have a big upper level low spinning up here in the northern plains, and we have this subtropical flow down here. This is going to cause some issues. We're going to have a nice westerly flow here, and we're going to have this southwesterly southerly flow coming up from the Gulf. Rotating supercells will be possible. We have a lot of instability in the region, strong tornadoes, large hail, damaging winds, 80 plus miles per hour. All of that is possible today. Speaking from a meteorological standpoint, this is a really beautiful setup, dangerous but beautiful setup. Really nice spin up here. This is just a classic Ohio Valley severe weather setup. So I've noticed a little bit of a downtrend in the HRRR this morning, which hopefully continues. But when I say a downtrend, it's not showing like, oh, we're not going to get any severe weather. It's maybe we won't see the outbreak, but we'll still see some tornadoes, large hail and wind, but it won't be widespread. We're going to get into that a little bit more right now. Going back to the radar, this is our categorical risk, as you can see, stretching all the way down from northeastern Texas up through portions of the lower Mississippi Valley, Tennessee Valley, Ohio Valley, up into the mid-Atlantic. And I'm going to go over a couple different things here. I do also want to talk about the tornado risk, so we can take a look here. Here's our tornado risk. If you're in the green, the brown, the yellow, the red, you could have a damaging tornado. But what I want to focus on right now is this hatched area. The hatch is with this black circle around it and these red dashed lines. Sometimes they're black dashed lines. This is radar Omega though. This right here is our 10% hatch risk for tornadoes, meaning from any point in this yellow, there's a 10% chance there could be a tornado on the ground within 25 miles of you today. Only 10%, not too high, but need to pay attention. What the hatched means is it could be a significant tornado, EF2, EF3 plus. And then when we get into this red region right here, you can see we have that 15% hatched. So this is definitely where we're watching for tornadoes. This does include a lot of Kentucky, central to western Kentucky, southern Indiana, southern Illinois, and southeastern Missouri. That 10% hatch does include also northeastern Arkansas, a big portion of northern Tennessee, southwestern Ohio, and a little bit farther up towards central Illinois, towards central Indiana. Just because you're not in that hatch, just because you're not, in the center of this tornado risk zone, we see stuff happen out here. Okay, this is more of a guidance. Of course, we're trying to tell the future with forecasting with good data, but sometimes these risk zones aren't perfect. And in hindsight, after the event, we look back and say, okay, well, we actually saw maybe more significant weather down here or up here. So pay attention. Even if you're right outside of this 2% tornado risk zone, definitely pay attention, have a way to get weather alerts today. I quickly want to take a look at our wind threat today. This is something else we have to talk about. 45%, 25-mile radius of any point in here, there's almost a 50-50 chance you could have damaging, destructive winds. So and this is hatched as well in here. This is a 45% hatched wind zone. Not impossible to see even 90, 100 mile per hour gusts associated with some of these storms. This does include a lot of western Kentucky, central to western Kentucky, northern Tennessee, southeastern Missouri, northeastern Arkansas, southern Illinois, southern Indiana, and portions, including Cincinnati, of southwestern Ohio. Big wind threat right here. And then lastly, I quickly want to push over to our hail threat. We can go in right here, and we've got this large 15% hatched region for hail. 2, 3, 4 inch plus hail is possible, especially in this region right here, this red region here. This is going to be our 30%. Large damaging hail is possible here. This is similar to where that tornado, the largest or the biggest tornado threat is, and that happens a lot because what typically produces large hail is strong updrafts, and strong updrafts are one of the key ingredients as well for strong tornadoes. So typically large hail and significant tornado risk zones tend to be pretty close to each other. Now, I quickly want to push into pivotal weather, and I want to take a look at the latest with our reflectivity from the HRRR today. Here's what's going on right now. Let's move forward. As we get into about 1 p.m., we're going to start to see some more thunderstorms firing up down here in southern Missouri, and we could see some down here in central Arkansas. We could get some long tracks out here. These could be putting on some strong tornadoes. We need to pay attention to this. Now, this is a little bit of an uptrend actually just from the 12Z to the 13Z. These are going to continue to change on the models, but from the 12Z just to the 13Z, we're actually seeing a lot more initiation, a lot more storms firing up, especially on the border down here near the border of Kentucky, Indiana, and Illinois and Missouri. So where do these storms really start to fire up? This is going to be right around 5 p.m. in the afternoon Central Time. We are going to really be watching this region here, okay? 5 p.m. Central Time. Look at this. Boom. Ton of supercell activity. When you guys see these little black circles, this is just a potential supercell, and we know that we have the severe weather parameters to produce tornadoes large hail, and strong wind. So when we see this much supercell activity, that is extremely concerning. Sometimes you have the parameters, but the atmosphere isn't right for these storms to convect and for these storms to actually form. You can have sunny skies above your heads, even with a ton of instability. But it looks like these thunderstorms are going to be firing off, at least with the latest model run. This is significant. Last night, I don't want to say it was a dud because, as I talked about in my previous videos, Thursday always seemed a little bit more conditional, and we did have some strong tornadoes actually hit up in Wisconsin, some 80 to 90 mile per hour wind gusts in portions of Illinois, Indiana, and Michigan. So there were some decent storms last night, but this has been the event we've been looking at for a while. As we get into the late afternoon, there could be severe thunderstorms. There could be the chance for tornado wind and hail across this entire region all day. But as we get into late afternoon, evening hours, that is when things look to really ramp up. And you can see this kind of QLCS and isolated severe thunderstorm threat is going to be pushing east across Tennessee, Ohio Valley all day once we get into that late afternoon, early evening hour. So something we really need to pay attention to. Let's also go down and look at the latest SIGTOR potential. And I want to take a couple soundings here, especially out of Kentucky. So this is kind of close to the Bowling Green region. PDS TOR, 9.0 effective layer, SIGTOR parameter, decent looking hodograph, lots of cape, pretty good directional shear near the surface, 4100 surface cape, almost 300 storm relative felicity SRH, and 33 knot shear at the surface. This is a good looking sounding. I'd be surprised if we didn't get at least a few strong tornadoes down here, but we could have a lot. It could be an outbreak. There's outbreak potential. I'm not saying it's going to be. I just kind of want people to understand worst possible scenario, best possible scenario. Best possible scenario, some of these storms do have an issue forming through this region, although a lot of the models are agreeing that these storms are going to initiate. Worst possible scenario, we have a tornado outbreak today. You got to understand both of those things there. I do plan on getting on a little bit later to stream during this. I know Mesomat, MESO-MATT, he will be on later, and he'll be covering this as well. So if you guys want to hop in there and ask us any questions, I'll probably try to get on around 5 p.m. when a lot of these storms are initiating. But again, like I said, all day we're going to have to keep our eye on the sky through this region here. I do want to quickly pull out, and I want to take a look a little bit further. After this event moves out, here we go. Major trough. I've been talking about this in my videos lately. Major trough setting up. This looks like your classic May tornado alley severe weather outbreak potentially. That's our 500 millibar heightened wind, and then we're going to push into here and look at this as we get into Sunday and Monday. Very strong lower level winds pushing through here, strong lower level shear. And if we compare that, that's a southerly flow there. If we compare that to our 500 millibar, where we have a nice potentially westerly to southwesterly flow, we could get some rotating cells in there. The SBC has already given us, as you can see here, a day 3, a day 4, and day 5 severe weather setup. Pretty much aiming at portions of Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, western Arkansas, western Missouri. That's where we're looking right now. And then as we get into Tuesday, we could even see portions of Mississippi, Tennessee, Kentucky, and Illinois get involved. So I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but that's something to pay attention to. It's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty good. And they already have that day 4 enhanced through pretty much Oklahoma City and Tulsa, out there in central to eastern Oklahoma. Again, I do appreciate you guys watching this video. If you like this type of content, feel free to throw me a sub, and you can like the video. Anything helps. And the climate collection is out now on ConnorsClimateCorner.com, on YouTube, TikTok Shop, all the good stuff. So if you wanted to support me that way, that's fantastic. If not, that is perfectly fine. I appreciate you just being here and watching this video, and I will see you guys in the next video and possibly on my live later. Like I said, I'll plan on getting on probably around 6 p.m. All right, see you guys.